news at 5 p.m.
And that breaking news in San Pedro, a mass shooting at Peck Park on Western Avenue. Sky 2 live over the scene right now.
Yeah, we have confirmed right now at least 4 people are injured. We have our CBS 2's Lori Perez, who just got to the scene moments ago. Lori, we can see the yellow tape behind you. Can you give us an idea of where you are and what's going on right now?
Yeah, we just arrived just moments ago, and we are on the edge of the park here on Western Avenue, and forgive me, I'm just getting my bearings as well, in Summerland Avenue. And you mentioned this yellow crime scene tape. They're essentially putting this yellow crime scene tape, if they could, around this entire park. Peck Park over here on the side here has the whole entire park has been declared a crime scene, and there are as many police here and fire responders here as I have seen in many crime scenes. We were listening to the scanner on the way down, and they just kept calling for more and more officers, more and more responders. As you said, we have confirmed at least 4 civilians have been injured in some way here at Peck Park. Perhaps we're told by gunfire that was reported just before 4 o'clock. So this is a very fresh scene, just over an hour here, and the police are inside the park, around the park. They are not allowing anyone who is in there to leave until they have been spoken to and identified. You know, I tweeted just a few moments ago that as we were approaching the park, trying to get our best vantage point to see what was happening, an LAPD officer waved us down, and he told us, you know, please be careful because there could be more suspects on the loose, and they are wearing body armor, so please be safe. And I, of course, told him to be safe as well. But that's a very, daunting warning coming from an LAPD officer. There are choppers in the air, both our own and LAPD choppers, and just a mass of officers and responders here. We're told that the shooters, there could possibly be as many as 3 of them who were, as the LAPD officer told us, wearing bulletproof vests, possibly. We're trying to get more confirmation on that. And police have been having a bit of trouble this afternoon controlling the crowd. We repeatedly heard groups of 50, 60, even 200 people that police were trying to keep from entering the park. As you can imagine, as word spreads about this, there was a car show here at the park. People rightfully have concerns about loved ones and friends who might have been in there. So there are lots of people all around the park just peering in, looking for information. LAPD has declared a tactical alert citywide, which basically means it's all hands on deck. They want every officer to be available to respond if necessary. And from the sounds of it, they are calling for that. Again, 4 people we've told so far have been, I'm sorry, I just got information. Can the producer elucidate on that? Are you telling me that there's...
Yeah, Lori, we're getting information here at the station from the LA Fire Department. 7 people
have been here told that...
That 7 people have now been
Sorry,
injured.
Ross? Yeah.
7 people injured.
Okay, so that's how quickly information is now. Okay, so yeah, so just information obviously coming out in bits and pieces here. So 7 patients we're hearing now. And again, listening to the scanner on the way down as the officers themselves were trying to get information, every second was peppered with people saying, I have someone here, I have someone here, we need 10 officers here, we need 20 officers here. So a very tense situation and a very large area for them to try to control. Certainly this is going to be a very long investigation, and we're hoping to get more information. We were just told when we got here that actually the command center where we're going to get information from the public information officers and such is actually on the other side of where we are. So what we're going to do is head over there as soon as we're done here so that we can get the latest information and the latest confirmed information from officials, because you can imagine a lot of rumors are flying around, a lot of people worried, of course, and just fearing the worst at this point. Guys, back to you.
And Lori, we're looking at pictures from Sky 2 Live above the scene right now. I know that you can't see it from your vantage point, but we are seeing some people walk along the perimeter of the park. Is it your understanding from where you are that there are still dozens of people inside the park, and the shooters may be inside the park as well?
I'm not sure where the shooters are, but it is my understanding, as I said, that anyone who was inside that park at the time of the shooting, if they haven't already left, they are not going to be allowed to leave until police have talked to them, identified them, and essentially cleared them. And we're told there was a car show, a popular car show inside, so there could be many, many people inside. You know, I've been trying to reach out to a young woman on social media, again, who was reporting that her cousins are inside, all under the age of 16. She says they're stuck inside there. I'm trying to connect with them. She wants to talk to their mom first before we do that. But we are trying to get a feel of what it's like at this moment inside there. As for the suspects, we met up with that LAPD officer who told us to be safe on the other side of the park, kind of in a neighborhood that it leads up to the park, and so he was staked out there with several other officers, certainly on the lookout until they can confirm whether they are indeed still looking for suspects who have not yet been detained at this point. So obviously a very tense situation, as you can imagine.
Lori, thank you so much. Of course, we'll be checking with you throughout the night. We do want to get a live look at Sky 2 right now. And Lori was saying that there was a pretty big car show there tonight. And I believe this is what we're looking at. All the different vehicles, I believe they look like classic cars here. Seems to be there are some people still there. It looks like maybe a mix of investigators as well as people that have gotten stuck in the park, not allowed to leave because now police considering this entire area a crime scene, Ross. And you can see just all the different vehicles that were left in this area.
Yeah, and just to recap, if you're joining us, it is a breaking story. LAFD is now telling us that there may be as many as 7 people hurt inside this park. We understand that there may be as many as 3 suspects. There were reports of shots fired, and there are reports that our Lori Perez has received that these suspects may be wearing body armor. They are not in custody. They could possibly still be in the park. Authorities don't know exactly where they are, so a highly intense situation right now.
And LAPD, we know, has confirmed they've issued a citywide tactical alert in response to this shooting, and that just means that they'll be getting many more resources to that scene. You can take a look at all the investigative vehicles there, as well as LAPD vehicles and Los Angeles Fire Department ambulance and fire trucks. This is an enormous response. And of course, we'll continue updating our viewers as we continue to get more information from San Pedro and Peck Park. We turn now to our other top story.